Hey guys, Nick Showman here with Showtime Strength. I'm here with Amar Dhesi. Amar is getting ready for his second Olympic appearance in Paris this year. We worked together when he competed in Tokyo. He's representing Team Canada as their heavyweight. So I thought it'd be really cool. We got a chance to work together today to talk about his experience being, you've wrestled since you were how old?
Since I was like 5 or 6.
So
yeah.
His whole life has been revolved around wrestling. It's a family thing, it's a community thing to him, and just his experience being a high-level athlete and what he's learned along the way. So, Amar?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a little backstory about myself. I grew up in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. My parents were both from India, so I'm second generation here. I grew up in a pretty traditional household. My mom worked 2 jobs. My dad was retired at the age of 50 and put all of his time and effort into me and my brother and our cousins in our wrestling club back home. So I grew up wrestling there. Wrestling's not a huge culture back home, in Canada, I mean. But I was fortunate enough to have the people that I did around me that pushed me and got me to where I am today. As Nick said, a 2-time Olympian now, so I'm pretty excited about that. And the journey's been long. It's been tough. I've always had the hard way through things. But we were talking before this. I've torn my ACL 3 times. I've fought through some tough things to get to where I am today, but that's just a journey of it. I mean, I wouldn't always say this one thing where like trophies and accolades and medals and what you accomplish in the sport is awesome, but it's not really the end all be all for me. It's been the journey and the people that I've met throughout my life, who I've connected with. It's been amazing. Like I'm in Newark, Ohio. We were just talking about like I don't think I'd ever be here. Who imagined I'd be here? But it's awesome that I met Nick, and he's been a big part of my success for the last 2 quads now. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, and talk about So you were a 2-time All-American at Oregon State, correct?
3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Sorry. There's highs and lows throughout your wrestling career.
Yeah.
Like, how do you navigate those highs and lows and just try to find balance?
Yeah, it took me a long time to navigate that. Like as a kid from just not a huge wrestling culture, and people that I looked up to, like we didn't have Olympic gold medalists, we didn't have world champs that were teaching us technique and teaching us outside of the sport and how to deal with nerves and pressure and disappointment and all that. So I learned that later on in my life. But I think, like you said, the lows are really low, the highs are really high for wrestling. So, but I dealt with it a lot, just trying to remember my why and the reason why I do what I do, and that was because just the love of the game. And I'm not wrestling for anybody else besides me, myself. The sport doesn't give you fame or money at the end of the day, so we're not a professional sport. But at the end of the day, it does mean something to me, and I know it does to other people as well. It's just something that fulfills me inside. And after this quad, I'm looking back to give back to our next generation, and we're joking about 2028 Olympics, but we'll see what happens.
So your passion has always been the underlying motivator. Your passion for the sport, your passion for your passion for helping others. That's what motivates you to keep going on.
Yeah, definitely. It's been my passion. Sometimes you forget why you do things, and that's what makes every day like a little bit harder, just because it's like, do I really want to do this tough ass workout right now?
Yeah.
But the reason why I just think back and it's like, this is what I want to do. I chose this life. I chose to be here today. I chose to do this hard workout. And then I've always liked hard work. It sounds weird, but I've always found like pleasure in like going to those deep, dark places.
Yeah.
So.
And I think you brought up a good point that I think it's easy to forget when you're in the trenches, so to speak, that
exactly.
You are choosing to wrestle.
Yeah.
You chose to drive 50 minutes
Yeah.
each way to work out this morning. Like,
exactly.
I think remembering that always gives you some humility in what you're doing. Like, nobody's forcing you to be here. Nobody's, you're living in Columbus, Ohio. There's nobody forcing you to do that. And this is, again, keeping in the back of your mind, like, this is my pursuit and my passion.
Yeah, definitely. Like what you just said, it's, and I do forget that sometimes. I think it happens to everybody. But after a little while, I try to remind myself, and I always remember because I go home. Like you said, I chose to be in Columbus, Ohio to train. And life out here it's fun, but it's tough. it's super tough. You know, I'm 28 years old. I have a huge family back home. We all live in one household. We're very traditional, and those are, you know, the long run. As older as I got, the more I realized that family, how much family really matters. So I sacrificed a lot of time with being away from my elderly parents to be here and train and try to be successful and push myself. So I remind myself that, hey, like, I chose to be here at the end of the day. You know, I chose to walk to practice for 4 months before the Olympic trials, a mile to practice and a mile back. I chose that lifestyle, you know. So, and but those are the tough things that you have to do to succeed and sacrifice, right? So.
And why don't you talk about, so interesting fact is Amar became a police officer back home. So how did your experience in wrestling and in sports, you know, cultivate your path to having success in that program?
Yeah, I think the wrestling and just the toughness and mental toughness I grew to know throughout the years is just tremendous. It's been tremendous help in my line of work. You know, I've only been on the job for a minute, and my department's the Vancouver Police Department. We're super amazing. Our leadership there is some of the best in the world that I've seen. Some of the best programs I've been a part of, and they've granted me 10 months off to go and pursue my Olympic dream, and so I'm grateful for that. But throughout the academy, like it helped me a lot. Just the mental toughness that you need, and just to do the daily early mornings, the late nights. That stuff I was used to. I've been used to that since I was 7 years old. So it wasn't anything new to me. So I think it helped me a lot with that. But just what was new to me was putting in 10 hours of work and then having to go wrestle after. Or then having to, you know, like our academy starts at 6, I'm up at 5, making sure I get an hour workout before I go to academy. Or then our academy ends at 4 p.m., I'm at 5 o'clock practice, training for a couple hours. That was the toughness. I think it helped me stay honest for that year that I knew that I needed to do to become a police officer and accomplish my goals outside of wrestling. So yeah, it kept me honest. It was cool. It's awesome.
All right, that's pretty much the whole point of the video. Just want to get some different perspective that most people never become an Olympic athlete or work with an Olympic athlete, and just seeing that perspective, I think, is always helpful when you see people at the top of whatever it is that they do, whether it's sport or business, community stuff. You know, Amar's been a great example for his country, his community, both wrestling and as a person. So thanks for that, man. And I'm really, excited for the next, 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, it'll be a fun road. And if you're in the Columbus area, come check out Showtime. You know, Nick's helped me tremendously, like I said, for the last 2 quads, being an Olympic athlete. And if you're not in the Columbus area, Nick works with me through my phone. So when I'm back home in Canada. So yeah, hit him up.
All right, thanks guys.